Good morning. Welcome to this special edition of Up With KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We are live in Moscow, Idaho this morning outside of the Latah County courthouse. Just 6 months ago, the man accused of murdering 4 students was arrested in December. Now this morning, he will face his arraignment in a matter of hours at 9 a.m. This morning, we do have Up With KREM team coverage for you with in-depth coverage taking a look at all angles. Nicole Hernandez is at the King Road home this morning taking a closer look at a timeline of how we got to this point. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is in the Weather Center taking a look at today's forecast, and Channing Curtis is in the KREM 2 studio with a look at today's top stories. But again, let's get to what's expected to happen in court today. Like we mentioned, the man accused of murdering those students will appear before a judge this morning for his arraignment. That's happening at 9 a.m. And while today will largely center around what's happening in the courtroom, we can't forget today is all about seeking justice for the victims. On November 13th of last year, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Consalves, and Madison Mogan were found stabbed to death in an off-campus home. Police arrested Brian Kohberger 47 days later in Pennsylvania. Investigators connected him to the crime scene through DNA evidence found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene. Last week, we learned a grand jury indicted the suspect on all charges. He now faces 4 first-degree murder charges and 1 count of burglary. This indictment means there is enough evidence for the case to go to a full trial. It also means there will not be a preliminary hearing in June as originally planned. We spoke with a Moscow resident about this case and how people are feeling now.
When the murders happened, people were really alarmed. And we had friends who were worried about going out at night, and they bought extra locks for their doors. But as soon as the guy was captured, the excitement wore down within a few days.
Yeah, definitely different for the Moscow community. There will also be a new judge in the case. His name is Judge John Judge, and as of now, the case is still in Latah County District Court, but it could be moved to another county if the judge thinks there is a better chance of finding an impartial jury. If the suspect enters a plea today, his trial could happen within the next 6 months, or he could waive his right to a speedy trial. A plea also means the 60-day countdown begins for prosecutors to file a notice to seek the death penalty, which of course is a possibility in the state of Idaho. Now, we also know the family of one of the victims, Kaylee Consalves, will be in the courtroom today. We did speak with the family attorney just a couple of days ago to talk to him about how the family feels about seeing the suspect in court today versus in June.
Once you charge someone with on an information, you're normally a preliminary hearings within a couple of weeks out. And they said 6 months out. You know, and I don't think that really was of, that's hard for a victim's families, for all the victims' families, that's hard.
We do know Ethan Chapin's family will not be in the courtroom today. We haven't heard from Xana Kernodle's family or Madison Mogan's family on if they'll be in the courtroom or not today. And even though the murders happened 6 months ago, so much has happened. This morning, Nicole Hernandez continues our team coverage. She's been covering this case for 6 months, and she's taking a closer look at how we got to this point. Nicole?
So I'm live at the King Road house where police found those 4 University of Idaho students back in November, and 6 months later the house is still boarded up and there's still a memorial for all 4 students. On November 13th, police got a 911 call from the King Road house. When they showed up, they found 4 University of Idaho students dead. The next day, November 14th, police identified the students as Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Consalves, and Ethan Chapin. On November 15th, Moscow PD said the killer used a, quote, edged weapon such as a knife, but that they hadn't found a murder weapon. It wasn't until 2 days later, on November 17th, the Latah County Coroner's Office released the official cause and manner of death. That was the first time officials called the deaths murder by stabbing. On November 18th, we learned more about where the students had been the night of the murders. Then, for weeks, police continued investigating the house. They were also clearing people from the suspect list, like the surviving roommates and people the students had been with that night. Now, December 7th, investigators say they want to talk to the owner of a white Hyundai Elantra that had been near the house the night of the murders. On December 15th, troopers in Indiana pulled over that Hyundai Elantra twice with Brian Kohberger driving. He and his dad were on their way from WSU to Kohberger's family home in Pennsylvania. On December 30th, police arrest Kohberger in Pennsylvania. So that timeline there, of course, brought us up to the point of police arresting Brian Kohberger. In the next half hour, though, I'm going over what's happened since the arrest to lead to the arraignment today. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Now, the suspect's arraignment is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. and KREM 2 will be there in the courtroom. The court is not allowing us to stream it, but we will have a live report right after that arraignment, so we will be able to let you know exactly what happened. In the meantime, for the latest information on this case, you can text us the word Moscow to 509-448-2000, and we'll send you a link to all of our reporting right to your phone. And of course, we'll have more from Tim and Nicole, who are live in Moscow, here coming up later in the show.
6:06, let's take a look at our weather forecast on this brand new work week, and a big difference from this weekend. Much cooler, much breezier outside. First thing this morning, our temperatures are well down into the 40s right now, which is a lot colder than most every day last week when we were seeing low temperatures in the 60s at times. Bit of a wind between about 10 to 20 miles per hour, certainly exemplifying the coolness in that air outside this morning. Down to 42 in Ritzville, one of the cooler spots. It's 45 in Pullman and 46 right here in Spokane. Bit of sunshine this morning, but mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, and high temperatures as cool as they've been in the last couple of weeks, with highs only in the mid-60s today. And one more chance for some showers and storms across northern Washington throughout the day. Yet again, these are the locations that had some of the strongest thunderstorms yesterday and the last 2 days over the weekend. Still a bit of lightning being seen via Doppler radar across Okanogan and Ferry County. So we're tracking that currently on Doppler radar, with more shower and storm chances in this region this afternoon as well.
It is 6:07 right now. Time for your morning rush. More news in less time. State Route 395 near Deer Park is still blocked this morning after a crash that killed a 27-year-old woman. According to the Washington State Patrol, the crash happened near Dahl Road around 6 o'clock last night. 2 vehicles were involved in the crash. Officials say a detour is available on Dahl Road. The crash is still under investigation. Well, over the weekend, deputies arrested 5 people for a break-in at the St. Ignatius Hospital in Colfax. The Whitman County Sheriff's Office says that they stole more than $3,000 worth of equipment. Most of it has now been recovered. 20-year-old Donovan Hoffman and 21-year-old Malachi Beach were booked into the Whitman County Jail on charges of burglary and theft. The other 3 suspects are minors, but they will also face charges. Well, in case you missed it, the Lilac Festival's Torchlight Parade danced through the streets of Spokane on Saturday. The theme of this year's parade was perseverance. It was to represent the city's strength after the pandemic. It also honored the military and veterans with dozens of high school marching bands. And that's a look at your morning rush.